Hello, friends. Welcome back to your English class. I'm Jasmine, and we were dealing with the story The Portrait of a Lady, written by Kushwant Singh. In the previous modules, we discussed the story, and here in this module, we're going to discuss some of the important questions related to this chapter. Let's begin. Meanwhile, be ready with your text and a notebook so that you can find the answers and mark the important points. Let's begin with the first question. The first question: why was it hard for the writer to believe that his grandmother was once young and pretty? As you read the story, you can see the writer had seen his grandmother old for the last 20 years. Her face was wrinkled and her locks, here lock means her hair, it was silver. The writer's mind refused to accept the fact that his grandmother used to play games as a child. He felt that his grandmother already looked so old as if she could never grow any older. Considering all these, it became very difficult for him to picture his grandmother as a young girl. Second question: what was the turning point in the writer's friendship with his grandmother? So you can see the turning point in the writer's friendship with his grandmother was when they moved to the city as they were taken by their parents who already settled in the city. The only thing remained unchanged was their common bedroom. His grandmother no longer accompanied him to school as he went to an English school in a bus. She could not help him with his lessons anymore as she did not believe in science that was taught in the writer's school. She disapproved the modern system of education and gradually they saw less of each other. Thus, it became a turning point in their relationship. Now, let's move on to the next question. How did the author and his grandmother spend time together before going to the city? As you read the story, you can see when the author used to stay with his grandmother alone in the village, she used to wake him up every morning and used to get him ready for school. She bathed him and dressed him up. She used to utter her prayers in the hope that the author would learn it some day. She served him breakfast and accompanied him to school as his school was attached to the temple. While the author sat in the veranda singing alphabets or prayers in chorus, his grandmother sat inside the temple reading holy scriptures. On their way back home, they used to feed the village dogs with the stale chapatis that the author's grandmother carried with them. Let's move on to the next question. When people are pious and good, even nature mourn their death. Justify. In the story, you can see when the grandmother died, her body was kept on the floor, wrapped in a red shroud. Thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor around her dead body, but there was no chirping. The sparrows mourned the loss along with the author's family. The author's mother thought that the birds were there in order to get some food. So she attempted to feed the sparrows with some breadcrumbs, but what happened was they took no notice of the breadcrumbs, and after grandmother's body was carried off, the sparrows just flew away quietly. Thus justifying the statement when people are good and pious, even nature mourns with their death. Next question: how did the grandmother spend her day in the city? When the writer and his grandmother moved to the city, she rarely left the spinning wheel to talk to anyone. She sat by the wheel, spinning and reciting prayers. However, the only time she relaxed was in the afternoon when she went to feed the sparrows. So, these are some of the important short questions regarding the chapter. And in the next module, we will be discussing some of the important long answer type questions. I hope the session was helpful to you. Thank you.